Cue ball control doesn't always have to be so complicated. Sometimes you don't need spin, draw, or really anything fancy at all. Just getting the speed right will already change how easy or difficult the game feels. That's why I'll walk you through this 8-ball rack to show you how small stroke adjustments can make the cue ball stop exactly where you want it. The first ball we're gonna play in is that one. And when you're thinking about controlling the speed, the very first thing you have to think about is where is the cue ball gonna travel naturally if you're just hitting the center of the cue ball. And the good news is here we have a rough idea that the cue ball probably is gonna travel to here and then comes in between those two balls. And by knowing that, or by estimating the line, I can also decide where exactly the cue ball has to stop. Because you want to pick a point if you want to decide what speed you're going to play. This is important. So let's say if the cue ball travels to here, I would say in the best case the cue ball stops around here where we have this one into the side pocket and a follow-up shot with this one because we want to plan ahead. This is why we're going to change our speed because we want to make the whole thing simple. So in that case, when I'm playing that shot, it's very important that I use the right bridge length because for example, if I'm going all the way back to here with my bridge and I'm doing these kind of strokes, you can see, obviously this looks like I'm hitting way too hard. So we want to have a natural distance to the cue ball. This is important. So I would say these are the kind of strokes I want. And then I just want to stroke the cue ball naturally. Just a bit too hard, but we're still in a very good position on a D11 ball. Now, here comes a very important thing. You want to plan ahead because obviously we're going to play the 11 into here and then we're going to play that one into here and then in the best case we have the 9 ball. But we have to think about the speed because if we're just playing that ball in and bringing the cue ball to here, then we will end up straight on the 13 ball. And if we're straight, we can't bring the cue ball off the rail. So we gotta adjust our speed. So I would say we're just gonna play a center ball and a very, very soft speed that the cue ball stays off the rail so that we get off the rail with the cue ball for the 9 ball. So here, once again, I'm not having those big strokes, but here, since I wanna play a very soft shot, you can see those tiny, tiny backswings that I'm doing. Just like that, and because of that the cue ball didn't travel a lot and we have a very nice angle on the 13 ball. Now let's get over. We know if we're playing just a center ball or maybe a follow shot where we're hitting high on the cue ball comes into the rail and should come out like this, where we are first of all off the rail with the cue ball and where we might have a tiny bit of an angle on the 9 ball so that we can decide what we want to do afterwards. So these are the kind of strokes I'm gonna make. And I want to follow through the cue ball as well. I don't want to just stop. I want to follow through because this is part of my stroke and this is important for the cue ball to take a different path. Okay, this is perfect. Now we have 2 options here. First of all, we could roll it in really soft and probably bring the cue ball to here for the 12 ball. But once again, we want to think ahead, we want to plan ahead. And this is why this is so important in pool. You don't have to be a really good player, you can even be a total beginner. Planning ahead is something any one of you can do, and it will make the game so much easier. You don't have to improve your stroke, your aiming, your shot making, your fundamentals. Just by planning ahead, the game will become so much easier. So start from the very beginning to actually think about what you want to do on the table. And here, if I just decide to roll the ball in for the 12 ball, I have to somehow bring the cue ball to here for the 10 ball, and then from the 10 ball, I have to somehow bring the cue ball straight onto the 15 ball to play a stop shot for the 8 ball. And this is not easy, because here I have to manipulate the cue ball to bring it back, and then from here I once again have to manipulate the cue ball as well. So what we can do instead is maybe get from the 9 ball to the 10 ball, from the 10 ball to the 12 ball, and then we have a much easier time to get to the 15 ball, right? We're hitting the ball pretty full in the face, so the cue ball will lose a lot of its energy. So we have to hit a bit harder. The cue ball actually comes over to here for the 10 ball. And I even think about bringing the cue ball all the way frozen to the rail. So I even think about that tiny difference of cue ball placement, because if it's here on the rail, I can go over to the 12. If I'm straight, I will leave the cue ball on the rail. So even think about those tiny differences in cue ball control, because this will make a huge difference. So this is just a center ball. I once again could go to here, but I'm a bit too close in my opinion. So I'm going to the rail. By the way, this rail bridge is something I covered in my latest video. So I'm just gonna play a center ball with the right speed and bring the cue ball to the rail. You can see, even though I didn't bring the cue ball to the rail, the cue ball just bounced out a little bit. At least I have a clear plan in mind. So now I know I just hit this shot a bit too hard. If I would have not thought about it and the cue ball ends here, I would say, yes, this is fine. But now I know, well, I made a mistake because the cue ball should have been here. But it's still okay. We can still work with the cue ball because we have a tiny bit of an angle. So what do we want to do? Once again, think ahead, because if you're straight on the 12 ball, then you can't really do a lot and you will have a very, very long and difficult shot on the 15 ball. However, if I'm having a bit of an angle on the 12 ball, then I can just either use the tangent line to bring the cue ball out. We covered that as well in a previous video. Or we can just play a follow shot, come into the rail and end up straight on the 15. Good news is in pool you can also cheat the pocket a bit. This means I'm gonna shoot the 10 ball into the right part of the pocket compared to here. And this makes the cue ball go a bit further to here. And I would say, if I'm straight on the rail or almost straight on the rail, just a tiny bit of the rail, I will have a nice shot on the 12 ball. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna get very close with my bridge because I just wanna have the cue ball move a tiny, tiny bit here. Just like that, just a bit of the rail. And you will see in a minute, this makes the whole thing so much easier compared to being here. So once again, tiny bit of difference in cue ball placement makes a huge difference, makes the game so much easier. Okay, now we need a bit of a bigger stroke because now we know the cue ball once again is hitting the 12 ball pretty full. So it loses a lot of its own momentum that it gives to the 12 ball. This means we need to hit follow high on the cue ball to make the cue ball follow to here. And then I would say, if we end up somewhere on that line, just probably around here, I would say, then we have a good shot on the 15 ball. I want to put a big stroke onto the ball. This is where I'm not getting so close, but a bit further away, maybe something like that. And then I just want to adjust my strokes, the length of my stroke and my follow through. Just like that. And we ended up almost straight on the 15 ball. So now we want to play a stop shot. This means the cue ball has no forwards rotation, it doesn't roll, no backwards rotation, you don't want to draw back, but it's just sliding. It gives 100% of its momentum to the 15 ball, and then we have the best possible 8 ball you can have in that game. So let's give that a try. I have to stroke it a bit harder because I want to keep the cue ball sliding when it arrives. So I can hit that as hard as I want as long as the cue ball is sliding, no backwards, no forwards rotation, then I will have a stop shot. So I'm gonna hit maximum low and I'm gonna hit the right speed that the cue ball slides on impact. You can see now I had a bit of draw on the cue ball. This means I hit a bit too hard, but this is fine. We still have a good shot on the 8 ball. And you can see how simple we made that whole rack look just by using the proper speed and just by thinking ahead, by planning ahead how you want to run this rack and by understanding what kind of angle you need. So if you want to learn more about the bridges, about the stroke, about pool in general, subscribe to this channel, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.